who pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 2, we will call to order the May 1st, 2025 Village Board meeting. Roll call shows all trustees present. Staff is present except for Allie and Jane, who are excused. Lauren is in as the minute taker, and our attorney Ashley is also present. 4 agenda changes. Are there any? 5 consent agenda. A, April 17th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. B, licenses and permits as presented. And C, presentation of accounts and other claims against the village. If there are no questions, I would need a motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Roll call, Jim.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carried. 6, pre-registered citizens to be heard. Are there any?
Craig Dreyer, 52 Parkview Lane.
Good evening. I'll put my reading glasses on so I can see. I live at 52 Parkview Lane, just down the road here, directly across the street from the new subdivision that's going in. Had a couple conversations with Nathan regarding the 480 square foot sign that is facing directly to my property. Looked at all of the ordinances. I can't see anything in there that says you're allowed a 480 square foot sign, period. So tonight we're looking for a couple of clarifications. I consider that to be a temporary sign. You can either have 32 square feet or 64 square feet. You can have it for 30 days and then it has to be removed. You can do that 4 times a year. That's the way I understand it. I would also ask, since the semi-trailer that's sitting there and that has been there for 6 months is the vessel for this sign to be posted on, that also should go away as well. Okay? So I don't know if it's somewhere in the developer's agreement that it was stated that he could have 2 signs, because if you go over on the highway, he has the same thing on over there. So if it's something in the developer's agreement and I missed that, shame on me. But, so I would like clarification. Is it in the developer's agreement? Is it a temporary sign? Did it need a permit? If it didn't need a permit, there's also ordinances for that permit thing where they can only be 32 and maybe sometimes 64 square feet. Okay? So, the other thing that I can't find in the ordinances is, I will say yesterday morning, at 6:15, 6:20 in the morning. We have video of it. We were woken up to a bobcat backing up with the beep, 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 beep. Now, when parkers were over there, I went over and talked to them and said, hey, I understand your trucks are coming here. Can you make sure that you're not backing it up because it's right into our driveway? So he took it under advisement. We didn't really hear it again, but now we're running into the same thing again. So I don't know if there's an ordinance. I mean, there's a burn ordinance, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I don't know that that's necessarily a noise variance, but you have noise variances. But when can they start in the morning? How late can they start at night? Is that in the developer's agreement? If it's not, rumors are that he may be looking at another area in the village somewhere. I would certainly hope that you would have that put in the developer's agreement, like the hours of operation. Third thing, just a general question. I didn't see it, but are they going to put a sidewalk on that side of the road all the way down to the end? Did you have anything else? Those are the things, right? Yeah, I guess one other thing. They've been parking on our section of road that's going into our subdivision. Very wet out. You can drive by there, you can see the tire ruts. I have to fix them. So I'm wondering if they're gonna come over and fix them. They put the, what is it called, bubble gum or whatever, the fiber optic that's coming down. I know they're supposed to fix it. They've been gone for quite a while. That's all sitting there. I'm wondering when they're gonna fix that too. Thank you.
Thank you. 7,
He has has my phone number if you wanna call me with that, or I can give you my email address. All right? Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to 7, committee reports, there are none. 8, unfinished business from previous meetings, there's none. 9, new business. A, discussion and possible action on appointment of committee members. On your sheet, Carrie got added to the Public Works Committee and also to the Public Facilities Committee. That is the only changes, but I would need a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept the committee appointments.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. B, discussion and possible action on 2026 early CIP purchases of police squad and public works truck.
So I asked both of these to be on there. I guess kind of looking at the concerns I have is basically for some of these vehicle purchases that we have planned in 2026. My concern is chips manufacturing dwindling, similar to around COVID. We don't have to, because of the rare earth mineral stuff that's being tariffed and not sold to us anymore. So the concern is whether or not the costs are going to go up on those items, or if they're going to be hard for us to get in the future. So that's kind of why it's on here, is whether or not it makes sense to try to purchase them sooner than later.
Anyone have questions?
You passed something out, so Dave, you probably have something to explain or not?
Yeah, I just think in past we've talked about the different squads and the mileage thing, and I just feel like it's easier just to see where we're at. I know Nathan and I talked about this, but I think it was a good opportunity for the board to just see those numbers in front of them rather than trying to discuss those squad numbers with the year numbers, because it gets a little confusing at times. So just so you all know where we're at. I mean, we don't have to do anything early. I mean, we're fine with that, but if there's a concern for cost, then it would be in our best interest to buy early, but I'm fine with waiting if it needs to happen too, so.
Aaron?
We needed a new water utility truck. We're trying to squeeze out as much as we can. It's getting pretty rusty. Could it make it till 2026? Let's see. That was the original plan, but if the board wants us to move forward with that earlier, we can.
What year is that truck?
2013.
And is it just a basic truck? Is it a four-wheel drive?
It's got a crane on the back for our lift stations, so that's the only thing. I started looking into pricing out newer models, but it's hard because it's kind of specific, and a lot of the vendors that carry stuff like that, you have to actually just go and request a quote from them. You can't just find it online. So
And the crane, is that like an attachment that can be moved to a different truck, or is it you buy the truck with that attachment?
yeah,
Okay.
So rusted out, like not functional rusted
No.
out, or just normal Wisconsin
yeah.
wheel wells, rocker panels, all that you can drive for another 5-6 years kind of thing.
Well, I don't know about that. It's
Well,
but-
that's what I'm kind of asking, because we haven't seen it, so we don't know what
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of what
it's-
rusted out means.
you could pick pieces off of it,
Yeah.
but it's just getting to be at the end of its life.
And that's the only piece of equipment that's used for the lift station, or capable of being able to pull up the?
We're not coming in with quotes. It's just whether or not you want us to go and pursue getting them. We can bring in, basically a workup of each of the vehicles too, if you'd like, before approving any purchase. So.
So do they have any projection of what it would be if we waited until 2027, or
No one
would they
knows.
not be able to?
No, I mean, the hard thing is it's all up in the air. So it could be just general, small 2.5% increase. It could also be a lot higher. The question is whether or not, I know part of the constraints during, after COVID was the chips manufacturing was down for a long period of time, and then the cost for used and current vehicles skyrocketed. Whether or not that's gonna affect the next year, and I have a feeling that it might affect the next year's bids, when the state goes out for bids, for their vehicles, is the tariffs might be something that they take into consideration when they're looking at what cost they're gonna get. I don't know for a fact. That's why I figured I'd bring it to you guys and say, you know, these are the things going on. I don't know necessarily what the price. It could be normal.
So we would have the money next year, considering it's a year ahead of time, or?
Well, we'd have to fund it now. You know, we have some of the funds that we got for the sale of the truck for the police vehicle. The water vehicles all through the utility, which is a different type of fund. It's that enterprise fund, so you're still making a profit on that. It's not as much as like the taxes where it's, you don't have the money necessarily. So there's potential for it. I guess without having the quote, it's hard for me to tell you where we'd pull from for it. I don't know. It was just something that we figured we'd bring up to you guys, as an option to think if it makes sense to go forward looking into it or not. And even by the time we get quotes, I mean, I think the quote's already out there for the police. I think it's around, what was it, 48?
Yeah, actually, when I was looking at last year's number, it's 47. 46,000, around 46. Last year was, it's pretty close to last year's number.
Right.
I mean, it's like within $1,000 of what last year's number was, so, I mean, that was the conversation, just if it changes it.
And there's 27,000 from the sale of the truck? Is that what that
Well,
was? That's
and
in
that
the-
number's for the base, that's not with our outfit too, so just FYI, so. Cause we'd have to put in a new.
Yeah, well, yeah, depending on what, you know, equipment that we can carry over, but usually factor in another few $1,000 to equipment and labor.
But we'd have half of it roughly for that
Correct,
vehicle.
yeah.
Because that was allocated just strictly for the squad. Did that money go into, Julie, you brought that up, I remember.
Yeah, it basically is in the reserve fund now, technically. It wouldn't be officially until you guys approve it at the end of the year with all the other reserve fund amounts, but they're still collecting on
Yeah,
interest.
which then puts it towards CIP and help full
So
circle
then-
home in here.
What
Yeah.
would the truck be worth if we sold it? Anything to offset at all?
Back end, that works, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been surprised on some of that, the pricing that we get on that, auction site that we use, so. I don't know,
Okay.
10 maybe more?
Lucky.
Yeah.
My personal opinion on this is that I wouldn't, you know, my thinking is that I wouldn't go looking in advance for something that we don't necessarily know what, you know, I mean, trade, geopolitics, I mean, this is a fact of everyday life, and it's part of our economy already, you know, and things happen, and sometimes prices go up, and things happen, sometimes prices go down. And it's tough for us in our situation with limited information to know further out. I mean, it's tough for economists to know further out what's actually gonna happen. So I think if we need the vehicles, if we needed to move up our timeline, maybe it's a smart idea to move up our timeline, but if we didn't, and it turns out that, you know, there's a chip shortage, yeah, I agree with it. It would affect the price and it would affect availability, but that might just mean that you have to drive one of the vehicles for 6 months more before, you know, you're waiting for the chip to come around. I mean, and it's not, everything in the vehicle is gonna be more expensive. It's just the chips, and then supply and demand is the other thing that's gonna cause the price to fluctuate, but I can't see, you know, jumping ahead of whatever's going on now, just because we speculate something might happen.
Is it just the chip issue that's the issue, or is it?
Well, it's that, well, and I think a little bit with the uncertainty and with
Oh.
the bids of the next year is
Yeah.
most likely, because there's no certainty, I think they're gonna add that into what their increase might be. But I get it, it's one of those things where it's hard to predict it, and maybe they won't on our end when it comes to police vehicles. I mean, we don't necessarily know that they're gonna increase it on the police vehicles in comparison to, you know, your general person purchasing, so we get them for a lot cheaper than anyone else does for the vehicles that we get, so.
And not to make more work for staff, but would it hurt to get just a ballpark figure on what some of these vehicles might cost?
Like in the,
Like for
Now?
2026?
in 2026, I mean,
No,
it's,
but like, so like it's 2026, the anticipation that we're gonna purchase it then, but like if we were to purchase it early, just so that we have that ballpark figure, so let's say in 2026, we're sitting here and saying, okay,
Right.
but wait a minute, it only went up X amount of dollars, oh, holy man, it went up this much, you know, we need to maybe, I don't know, I mean, right now, we also don't know what the bid would be for these vehicles,
well, the police we do for the most part,
okay?
because that one's through the state, through the end of the
Yeah.
year, so. But for the truck, we don't know yet.
It would be nice too, just so that we can anticipate how much that's going to be. We don't know an exact number, but it would give us a better ballpark, because do we really know within like $10,000 about how much that type of truck costs?
For the most part.
For the most part, you do?
Yeah, I mean, we usually like to overestimate, and that gives us a few other benefits of it, is if there's leftovers, you
Yeah.
put it in reserve, you can allocate it to something else, so we tend to kind of go a little higher than normal.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think it was just something that I was thinking of and wanted to put in front of you guys for a decision. I don't really know what the best strategy is. I mean, obviously, every year stuff goes up, but, I mean, if it's on the same level as last year's increase, it's minuscule and not worth the amount of time. So, yeah.
Anyone else? Do you want us to give you a head nod to get some quotes?
I mean, I guess if you guys, my concern is basically spending the time getting the quotes, if it's something that most of you are not really on board with moving forward with early. That's why, because like, that was the whole reason we brought it to you now, instead of coming to you with quotes and all
I'm
this.
not on board, I mean,
Right.
if it
The hard
looks like
thing-
it's
right.
gonna make sense, and if it's something that inevitably needs to be replaced, I wouldn't mind seeing quotes and making a decision from there. I don't have any holdup of feeling like we're not gonna proceed if we saw them. I would never tell you to get a quote if I was absolutely certain I would say no to it.
I know, I guess, I knew that's kind of how you were
Mhm.
feeling,
But not
I
the
don't
board-
know.
the rest of the
with-
board, yeah.
Right.
What is everyone else's feeling?
I say get the quote, I mean, you can't just make it, you have to see a quote. You can't really say anything or make a decision if you don't know. I mean, it'd be nice to have a starting point. For me, anyway, I don't have any frame of reference
Right.
to start with, so.
I mean, to me, this is like, that's why I said, if we need them, if we need the vehicles to be replaced, then yeah, go get the quotes. If we don't need the vehicles to be replaced, then I mean, this is like I bought a truck and I'm gonna be driving my truck for another, I'm gonna keep my truck that I'm driving for another 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go out at the end of this year and go start looking for a truck, cause I know that in 2 years, the price of the trucks is gonna have nothing to do with what the price of the trucks are now, and I won't actually need a truck until then. So, if we don't need a vehicle, I would say my opinion would be don't waste your time. If we need to replace vehicles, then we need to replace vehicles. And then it's definitely a worthwhile endeavor to go find out what the cost is gonna be. But if they don't need to be replaced, then it's a hard sell to say, all right, let's replace it a year early or 2 years early or whatever, because we think that there might be a change in price. And there might be a change in price, but we can't, there's no way to know that, and there's no way to ever know that.
I guess I ask about safety. Is there anything with that crane truck that could potentially be a safety issue?
No, not that I'm aware
Okay.
of.
That's my biggest concern.
That vehicle would be of the two, I think the police one could wait. Anyway, I think this all came up in our discussion when we were talking about selling the police chief's truck, so to me, the police car isn't something that I would even focus on right now. But the other truck, I mean, to Jim's point, if it needs to be replaced, then we should get quotes, I mean, let's just see where we're at, but if it's simply if it's functional and just rusty and, going through its motions, then maybe now's not the time.
And I'd agree to that too, to just wait at this point anyway.
I say we wait. So I think that's consensus.
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll move to C, discussion and possible action on the purchase of additional meters for the water utility.
So part of this is making sure we have enough meters for the 2 new subdivisions that were created in the last year or two. And we have to do a 10% meter change out per year. So we did an order at the beginning of the year for 100 of them. Still haven't gotten it yet, but we need to do more. We have about 60, I think there's 69 of them that need to be used for new developments, and then add on the 120 we're supposed to do anyway. It's about 200 meetings, so the idea was to do another order for another 100, I believe, right?
Yeah. And that way we can also start to chip away at, we have some that aren't meeting or are having problems, so you can get those changed up as well as the new ones that have to come online.
I assume there's a budget for this, it's all in the budget already for
No.
these or no?
It was budgeted for,
The first 100.
Which is already purchased.
Yeah.
Is it a flat rate, or is it a graded scale based off of how many you buy?
I think it's a flat rate.
Okay.
So you need a motion to go ahead?
Do we have numbers for them or anything?
It's about,
40,000.
38,000 or something like that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
It's about
I asked
35 to 40,000.
I asked if we had any numbers for them.
Assuming
We don't have
price is
anything.
pretty similar to what we've got in January, which I imagine pretty close.
So, just for my understanding, you said that we have to replace so many, like that's a law or something, I think you have some percentage. So if that's the case, why did we only budget for 100?
That was that 10%, but didn't take into consideration all the new houses that were coming online.
Is that for the subdivision over here?
That one and the one
Westwood.
Westland.
What's the expected date for the new ones? I mean, I saw that they've got one that's being put up.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get as many out this year as possible. I know he's got 13 of building permits out. I wouldn't be surprised, I mean, it might be over the next year, but the idea is to have those on hand, just so we're not slowing them down for occupancy by not having them. And as of right now, we're, in May, and we still haven't received the ones we ordered in January,
Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so,
Okay. All right, I'm just trying to make sure that you're
no.
trying to get ahead of something.
Supposedly,
So-
supposedly they'll be in soon. Is the last kind of.
So, is this something that we had something in front of us the last time, that when we approved a purchase?
No, because they're from the same manufacturer, because of the same model,
Okay,
it's something that we have in the budget, and then when you guys approve the invoice when it comes in, we pay it.
okay. I would just rather see something when we're gonna vote on it to say it's okay to spend, $40,000 on something.
But you're not approving the
We're not approving a number, we're just approving approval to buy a hundred.
purchase order,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, okay.
And the goal is to have them all the same brand, right?
Yeah, because otherwise you have to have multiple different
So
softwares.
it's not like we're taking
No, it's all Beacon, the new ones are
Yeah,
Beacon software,
beacons.
which we only have 288 that we replaced so far out of the 1,200 or so that we have now.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we need a motion for him to go ahead.
What do you need for a motion?
Not necessary,
You
I
don't
mean,
want a motion?
Or do you not need a motion?
not really, no.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we'd
When
be
do
good
this,
to order
the
them,
invoice?
and then we'll bring it back for
Approve the invoice?
Yeah.
All right, then we will move to D, discussion and possible action on Alonzo Park backup generator certificate for payment.
So this is the first payment app for that backup generator in Alonzo. They just got the new gas line hooked up yesterday, and they were installing the new electrical actually today. So, making good progress. Should be on schedule, if not ahead.
The total on this one is 135,
Yeah.
but this one was 85. What do they have left to do?
Well, now that the new services are installed, then they gotta hook everything up to the new generator, and there's some, they still need to then hook it up to the lift station across the street. So,
That's the 50,000 that's remaining.
that and the work that they're doing like this week.
Oh, so I mean, so we're approving the 85?
Yep. Yes.
And it's
Just the first
135, so you got 50,000 difference?
Yep.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we would need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for McMahon Engineering for the Alonzo Park backup generator in the amount of $85,122.
I'll second.
Roll call, Jim.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. 10, report of village officials. A, clerk treasurer, James' report is in the packet. B, director of public works. Aaron?
My report was in the packet. We did do our Arbor Day celebrations last week with the third graders. I put some pictures in there. We're every year learning a little bit more how to be a little bit more organized with them. Instead of just saying, who wants to do this, we started like lining people up in different rows and stuff, otherwise it kind of gets pretty chaotic. And then I did get confirmation from the circus that Alonzo will work, so we should be on for that. And I have staff out right now in Stevens Point doing some training, our roads crew, educational training for stuff that they're working on.
Did they express any concern about water?
They didn't.
Okay,
It was very short. I mean, it was just,
I'm just curious because it's pretty wet right now, I guess.
we'll change the flyers that we put out to your new spot. Alright.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
bug tussle?
Yeah.
Is that what he was referencing?
Yes.
Is they left some ruts somewhere? Or?
Yeah, and the way that they do it is they have a crew go in and do the installation first, and that crew is a little messy. They go really fast, but then now they have a restoration crew that's starting on the backside and is starting to restore everything coming through. So
Okay.
I think his fears are going to become assuaged by the time the restoration crew gets there, but it's something that we'll make sure we check on and make sure they get cleaned up.
Are they almost done coming through town? Or?
I think of a lot of it, they're pretty much done.
It might be at his house next week, to be honest.
Yeah, and I saw the restoration crews are starting where, on the west end of town where we started, so.
Yeah, they've been working on it all week, but I'm sure with the rain they can't.
This kind of
Yeah.
weather's really bad for
Yeah,
putting down topsoil and stuff like that.
yeah. Any other questions for Aaron? Okay, we'll go to C, Police Chief, Brian.
Reports in the packet, just one thing to note, I put in there, we had our medication drop off in Fond du Lac this week and we accrued about 180 pounds of prescription medication that we took, so I mean, it's a nice way to keep medications out of our water systems and then garbage and out of hands of kids, so it's, yeah.
And what did we do with that?
What's that?
What did we do with that?
Take it down to Fond du Lac State Patrol headquarters, and then they take it to a DEA drop site, and then I think they incinerate it. So, just the idea of just people not flushing them down the toilets or leaving them lay around, or well, others that have access. So it's pretty wild. The U-Haul, I mean, it's a giant U-Haul, and the thing was stuffed full. I mean, there'd be hundreds of boxes in there.
Well,
So,
I have a question.
you bet.
Only because I've been asked some questions. So, I know that we are, like our first responders, medical first responders, and our officers have Narcan.
Mhm.
Where does the funding come for that Narcan?
We have a vendor, we currently purchase it through a vendor, so, we actually just switched vendors. I think we used to get it from Gold Cross. It's $40 for a 2-pack, and the shelf life of about 40 years on those.
Okay. So, I'll tell you the reason why I'm asking.
Sure.
Is there's been some preliminary budgets, federal budgets, that are removing some of those federal programs. Do we rely on those federal program, so does that help subsidize the price? Or that's what I'm wondering, like, if you get it through Gold Cross, maybe it's $180 a dose, but
Right.
now we get it down to 40. So I've been asked if we utilize those dollars. The other question that's come up is, the shelf life, obviously you just answered that one, and then a while ago, and I don't know if you guys remember, when the former chief was talking about that vending machine, and Tyler was heading that up, and there was gonna be like a Narcan vending machine at the PD or something. Have we done anything with that, and if so, is this gonna affect that?
We did put in, I talked with Tyler, we did put in for that grant, we were denied that grant. I think Grand Shoot just got one, it was on.
It was on the
social media.
Facebook page, yep.
We were denied that grant. I don't know that there's a current grant out there right now. I'd have to ask Allegheny County Public Health. And I would say, just based on input that for feedback that I've gotten on, I think it's something that I would bring to the board to discuss, whether or not we wanted to put in for that grant, in the future. But I'm not aware of a current grant. I'd have to ask Public Health.
We just
Yeah.
haven't really got an update on that, and I just wasn't really sure. And then I was being asked questions about it, and
Yeah.
the Narcan and stuff, and I didn't have answers, so.
I do know that we offer fentanyl testing kits out in the hallway here at the lobby. But yeah, I think it's a valid question with the funding, with the subsidizing. Like, we're paying $40, but I don't know from our vendor how much how much that's subsidized by the federal government. So we'll have to see in that. But we just purchased kits for our squads last year with shelf lives of 4, so we're a few years out, pending how much we use them, because we have some extras. So, but really, yeah, currently it's about $50 for those 2-packs, and there's a 4-year shelf life on those.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank
Yep.
you.
Any other questions? Okay, we will move to D, Library Director, and Ally is excused. E, Attorney, Ashley? Okay. F, Administrator, Nathan?
I've got a report in the packet, and then also kind of been working with some of the developers on the Corpus property, that they're looking at providing some type of a preliminary plan or something for you guys to look at, not a preliminary plat, but a concept plan to see if it's something that you guys would be interested in, before moving into doing engineering and some of this extra work that comes with going forward with their project potentially. So, met with them this week, then also kind of started with some staff, basically kind of looking into some of the processes we do currently, and verifying if they're needed or some ways we can improve them to make them more efficient. That's the best way to put it, so.
Has everyone seen the water tower? They forgot to dot the I.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't notice that part.
What you can see of it with binoculars. It's pretty small.
Way to go. I have a question, Nathan. So Craig Dreyer came and talked to us tonight, and you've been working with him, or you talked to him. Is there something we need to do for a future agenda to talk about the size of the sign, or is this something that, are we able to do anything about this, or is this more of it's out of ordinance, or the ordinance doesn't exist for this sort of thing, or?
Is the trailer used for anything other than a billboard?
Yeah, well.
That's the
He
question.
claims, the problem is the fact that he basically sits there and says it's no different than me having this on my, spray painted on my, truck, or having your logo on your truck, is what his claim is.
But the size.
That's the size of the, that's, I think there's a way we could write we could probably enforce it.
I don't know.
I would
And
have
was
to
gonna
have
ask-
legal look at it.
Stan, I'm like, I don't
it's-
know.
Nathan said that we spoke about it before, and I'm sorry, I don't remember talking about it.
It was a over the phone thing, it was.
But it's on his trailer, and the trailer is parked.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a construction trailer.
In
So
the
it's-
construction
I mean,
site.
the trailer, anytime you have a building site, you have a construction trailer, right? So
The trailer's gotta stay there.
the
right?
trailer's gonna stay there. And I realize it's not pretty to look at from the house standpoint, but, we're kind of, it's not gonna be a plain trailer. I've never seen a plain trailer at a construction site. It always has even the business name or logo or something on it.
So without really getting deep into discussion on it, I just wanted to make sure that you're working with Craig on his concerns, or is there something we need to add to a future agenda?
I don't know.
I don't know what you would add. I don't have the code in front of me. I didn't hear anything that sounded to me like there was a clear violation. Do you guys have a noise ordinance?
The noise thing is not an issue with our ordinance.
I don't.
The fact that the trailer has a sign on it, that would be difficult probably to enforce. I don't know if you wanna expend the resources on trying to.
I just want to
I'll
make sure.
work with Nathan to look into, whether there's an opportunity or a need for issuing citations or sending some sort of a letter, but I don't know what you would put on your agenda at this point.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, we will move to G, building permit report. There is none. H, any other miscellaneous topics for future discussion?
I'd like to, in a future meeting, I won't be here for the next one, so I'd prefer it's not that one. If we could get an update on the pocket park, the stuff that we deeded over with the limitations on it.
Anything else? Okay, we'll go to 11, communication and miscellaneous business. A, Black Otter Lake District News. Bob?
Nothing new. Our next meeting is Thursday, May 22nd, here, 5 o'clock, so we'll have more.
All right. And B, Hortonville, Hortonia Fire District News.
Just the thing we got in front of us here, the party thing they have every year, fundraiser.
Yeah, Jack asked if we would just mention it and let everyone know, and
It's May 17th. They got a band, beanbag tournaments. They usually have like basket raffles and stuff like that too.
Any questions for Jim? Okay, we'll go to C, Gold Cross Ambulance Run Report and News. There's none. D, Hortonville Civic Association. Jane?
I have nothing new, but Village Voice are we allowed to put something in regarding the circus on that, or not?
I don't think so.
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna turn something in if it's not gonna get put in, so.
I'll let you know.
Okay, cause I need to know soon.
We'll go to E, senior activities. Jane?
We had a meeting today. Monday is the Cinco de Mayo Taco Bar potluck lunch. There'll be games following that, pinata, starts at noon. We are planning events for the summer, which will be on the senior activities calendar. Autumn Fest is October 14th in the planning stages, and next meeting is June 12th.
Okay. We'll move to 12, comments and suggestions from citizens present. Okay, 13, I would need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
You have to read it.
Pursuant, thank you. To state statute 19.85, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public businesses whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically a potential purchase of public property.
I'll second.
Roll call, Jim?
Aye.
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 Motion carried. 14, we would need 5 minutes recess to clear the meeting room. 17, any action on matters discussed in closed session? There would be none. 18, I would need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned